Hello Commanders, Pro-Tah-Zzioh back with a new video, and I bring to you another 2v2 with my usual partner Jcaz. We are now in the Krasnaya Gvardia clan and we'll be up against the Bloody T Warriors. So we got Bold Pilot and Femzi Main. So we'll be battling in the water barrier map, and everyone's rank 20, so I think this is gonna be a balanced matchup. Alright, so we go for very quick shipyards, which I will make a new video containing updated information from the new version. So as we can see, partner goes with double shipyard. We see deltas. Both super containers will be in the middle of the sea, and we're gonna see tons of deltas and caimans fighting over those two super containers. So, given that we only have caimans at the moment, we're gonna be at a disadvantage against those deltas since they are more powerful and more sturdy. So they will be able to secure those two containers. Since they will get advantage resource-wise due to the fact that they'll get those super containers, what I'll do here is I'll send out a small group here to the enemy blue player's base to force him to spend resources on the defense in order to offset the disadvantage from being unable to collect those super containers. Okay, so partner goes in to scout the enemy base, and as we can see, blue player pulls in his delta to defend his base and is spending more resources than intended to defend from that very small detachment that I sent. So green player helps him out with his delta so that he'll be able to save up resources. Good call. Right, so partner sneaks in a Cayman there at the corner to provide vision over enemy space, and we see that the green player is also scouting my partner's base with that fortress, and he proceeds, or partner proceeds to harass the blue player with a Cayman to attack that supply center that was under construction. So we see here that partner already has double level 2 shipyards and will start producing alligators. So this fortress will be chased away by that armadillo. Come on, armadillo, come on, go ahead, don't be shy, kill it, kill it. There you go. Welcome, Delta. Farewell, Delta. You're gone as soon as you came. Alright, so a little poke here and there by that pesky little caiman. Alright, so a little scout on the back of the enemy blue player's shoreline, and we see a couple of level 2 shipyards with double Viking production. Same with my partner, he has 2 level 2 shipyards and is also producing alligators at double the rate. Okay, another delta comes in to scout my shoreline and gets picked off by the alligator, so I prepare some naval platforms to engage the enemy Vikings. I also have 2 avia factories to produce dragonflies since Vikings have no anti-air. Okay, so as we can see, both enemy players are still producing deltas to help fight against the dragonflies since due to the fact, that Vikings have no anti-air, you can't really have it all. Okay, so we try to contest the super containers here, but looks like they're gonna get it again due to the number of Vikings and deltas that are present in the middle of the map. Okay, so a little harassment from the coyotes and a free scout as well comes along with that. And look at those Vikings like sitting ducks against those dragonflies. Sadly, a delta comes in and attacks my dragonflies, but that's okay. I'll change target to that delta so that any harm to my dragonflies can immediately be terminated. Okay, as we can see, he comes in with a replacement for that destroyed delta, but here's for you, my good sword, more dragonflies. Okay, so we're starting to get behind on resources since they are able to secure that super container once more. My mouth is watering on those super containers, given that that's gonna give him the advantage resource-wise. The more resources you have, the higher your ability to upgrade your buildings and get more units out to attack the enemy. Alright, the time's come and we see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Vikings that's gonna attack my shoreline. So I want to highlight this. As you can see, what I did is I lined up those alligators in front of my platform so that the Vikings would focus fire on those alligators instead of the platforms, and that will give the platforms or buy them some time to kill off those enemy Vikings. Plus, I had those dragonflies dishing out damage to those Vikings from above. And as we can see, the deltas are being pulled out given that my partner's alligators are starting to come in. So another thing that you should focus on in 2v2 battles would be looking at what's happening to your partner. And as we can see, after the wipeout of those Vikings, my partner immediately sent his alligators to help me defend, and now we're turning it around and we're gonna be the ones attacking the blue player this time. In naval battles, you should be able to see this silver lining when the enemy player loses all his ships, and that's going to be your signal to turn the tide and take the battle over to his base. So the green player is also displaying the same thing, given the knowledge that my partner's alligators were along with my units attacking. So he takes this opportunity to also launch a counterattack on my partner's base. So equal trade. Anyway, as we can see, given that the enemy green player is attacking my partner's shoreline, I sent in my dragonflies to my partner's shoreline so that we'll be able to fend those Vikings off easily. So the remainder of my alligators focus fired on the enemy shipyard so that that's gonna halt the blue player in terms of producing more Vikings, lowering his ability to defend his base as well as getting the problem addressed at the source. Successful attacks normally would have you wipe out the enemy army as well as get their factories, or check out their factories so that they won't be able to reproduce the units that they've lost. So what they would need to do is to rebuild the factory or the shipyard, and that's going to cause a ton of resources, whereas if their factories or shipyards survive, they would just continuously use those resources to rebuild their buildings to instead reproduce units to defend or probably do a counterattack. It also saves time when it comes to rebuilding those buildings, since the time spent on getting those buildings back would instead be spent on getting the units back instead. So as we can see, it looks like they still haven't found a solid counter to the dragonflies yet, aside from the use of deltas, since they don't have any typhoons and any vortex to freely kill those dragonflies. It is also an important factor to produce counter units against what your enemy has, so that you'll be able to use those units again and again to destroy the enemy army. A one-by-one trade-off wouldn't normally pay out, especially if your enemy's economy is better than you, since they'll be able to recover faster. At this point, we're gonna take advantage of their losses and we're gonna try to put the pressure on them, but looks like the green player has a different idea and sends in a ground army to my partner's base. As we can see, my partner's already prepared for it, setting up walls as well as sniper towers and having a few units defend his base. I didn't see this immediately, and my partner signaled for help in this section, So I went ahead and paid attention and sent in a few units such as dragonflies to help him fend off the attack. Another thing in 2v2 battles would be in-game communication, especially if your partner is doing something and you need them to pay attention to something else, such as this, so that you won't be able to suffer tons of losses. Always remember that fighting a 2v1 battle is as good as a battle lost. Okay, so even though we didn't really send a bunch of units to help defend our partner's base, it was still enough to hold him off from advancing, buying him some time to reproduce the units that he's lost and successfully defend his base. Since the green player launched a massive ground attack, he doesn't have any ships to send to his partner, so I take advantage of that and takes out my enemy shoreline, platforms and shipyards out of the way, so I'll be able to freely attack any buildings within range. Okay, so as we can see, my alligators are now starting to round up those buildings one by one, so that we'll be able to cripple the blue player. Since the naval strike boost has been removed, we'll still have to send either mass avia or a ground army to finish the job. Okay, so looks like the blue player's already spent. He might have been able to move a few buildings away from the shoreline, but I don't think he'll be able to come back from the losses that he's suffered. Okay, so I pull my dragonflies to the middle of the sea. So we can see there are Vikings, very helpless Vikings against the dragonflies that are gonna try to help out his partner kill off those alligators. So I think they're gonna be successful in that part. So even if they take out all my alligators, they don't have a concrete answer to those dragonflies anymore, and that's gonna be a free kill on all those Vikings. Well, we do see a delta, but that's not gonna be enough to take out that massive dragonfly army. Okay, so not that we need it, but we'll also be able to secure that super container. So generally we're just trying to deny the green player additional resources that he may use to help his partner defend or develop his base further. Okay, so as we can see, our dragonflies are giving chase to those Vikings, and before that Viking even reached my alligator, it's already below 50% health. My alligators ignore the Vikings at the moment since they're busy destroying the enemy base, and I just move in with my dragonflies to finish off the second Viking. Viking, imba, oh my god. Boom goes the Viking. Okay, with all the naval threats neutralized, I move in my dragonflies to attack the remainder of the blue player's base, but he has a solid anti-air defense that's gonna waste my dragonflies away. Okay, so my partner, knowing that the green player does not have that much units, or actually almost 0 units on his shoreline, he's gonna come in to destroy those platforms and those shipyards. So the enemy does have a Viking left at the back, and will be able to take out my alligator. Imba alligator, imba. The jaw of the alligator is already tired. Okay, looks like my partner's alligators are still feisty and are in for a fight, and takes out anything within range of those massive cannons. Way to go, alligators. Okay, so platforms are still being built, but would be denied in vain. Too bad, Imba platform. Imba, sad boy platform. Woohoo, bye-bye. Oh, another platform, huh? Okay, so I'll shut my mouth and just let you enjoy the cleanup of the enemy players' bases. GG, Dragonfly for the win. Kaboom boom pow platform. Wait, what? Oh, okay. What was that for? But anyway, congratulations on making it to the end of the video. Leave a like and subscribe for more Art of War free content. Pro-Tah-Zzioh out.